Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Chris Maloney back with you for another edition of CWN Weekly, episode number 38. It is Saturday, May the 8th, 2021. Still Chris Maloney, still London, Ontario, Canada. The weather still hasn't made up its mind, but it's we're into the month of May, which is pretty darn cool. And a special day for all moms out there tomorrow. So I'll take this time to wish everyone a happy Mother's Day. I'll do it at the end of the show as well. Big Mother's Day coming up tomorrow for my wife, my mom, and all the moms around the world there. So I just want to say happy Mother's Day, and I'll do it again at the end of the show. But just as important as Mother's Day are these guys right there. And if you're not watching on video, listening on audio, I'm wearing a Boston Red Sox hat. So I just want to make note of this because I am surrounded by Toronto Blue Jays fans. And in saying that, the Boston Red Sox right now, 20-13 record, 606 winning percentage. They are number one in Major League Baseball right now. So I got to say that, number one in Major League Baseball right now. So the fact is, to all you Blue Jays fans out there, keep your hopes and dreams alive. But when it comes to the Boston Red Sox, I will take it. But we are number one right now. So if you're not watching on video, you should, because I've got this awesome beard going, on my face here. And I think the time is coming soon that it will be either one trimmed down or completely shaven off. I know my wife's excited about that, but anyways, I tell you, it's a good time to be, like I said, a Major League Baseball fan, as well as a wrestling fan, which is what this show is all about. So if you listen to CWN Weekly or watching CWN Weekly for the very first time, thank you very much. Hit up the website, cwnonline.ca. Of course, is our website there. Anniversaries, birthdays for the week. So two of them yesterday, big time birthdays as far as Canadian professional wrestling goes. Kevin Owens, 1984. He was born yesterday, 37 years old. It's amazing to know the backstory behind Kevin Owens, his character, as well as even the Owens name, because the first time I ever saw him, he was Kevin Steen. And obviously Kevin Owens, the Owens part gets to the next birthday, and that would have been the 56th birthday of the one and only King of Hearts, Owen Hart, who unfortunately obviously passed away May 23rd, 1999 at the age of 34 years old. But yesterday as well was the birthday of the King of Hearts, Owen Hart, born in 1965 and 34 years old. And the month of May is always tough because you've got, him, his birthday, and then him passing away on the 23rd. And then you've got the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, who passed away, I think, on the 18th. At a very young age as well. But Kevin Owens takes his name from Owen Hart, so it's kind of cool. They share the same birthday as well. On the 9th would have been the birthday of the one and only Mike Shaw. People know him as Norman the Lunatic. People also know him as Bastion Booger. To me, I know him as Makhan Singh because I grew up on Stampede Wrestling, and I actually got to meet the guy. I have a signed 8x10 of him when I got to meet him at Midway Arena back in 1999, a long time ago. I think it was 99. Late 90s. I believe it was 99 though, but it was an independent wrestling show, and he was one of the guys there. I also got to meet the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov that same day as well, and the Honky Tonk Man, and I think Brooklyn Brawler was there as well. I'm not sure about him, but like I said, Mike Shaw, Makhan Singh, 1957, he was born. So he would have been his 64th birthday on the 9th, but he ended up passing away September 11, 2010 at the young age, again, 53 years old. So rest in peace to Makhan Singh. The 10th, which is Monday, Frank Tunney passed away 1983. He was 70 years old. Obviously, the Tunney name, huge here in Ontario, as well as Toronto specifically, but Canada as well. And a lot of people know the name Jack Tunney from watching wrestling back in the 80s. The 11th is the 44th birthday of the one and only glorious Robert Roode. I still want to say Bobby Roode because the fact is, I grew up watching Impact Wrestling. I shouldn't say grew up. I was long past my teen years, but the fact is, I've been a huge fan of Impact Wrestling since the beginning. So it's always going to be Bobby Roode. Obviously, he's the current WWE SmackDown Tag Team Champion, but the glorious Bobby Roode to me is always going to be the name. But Robert Roode, I mean, I don't know. It's like when he shaved off the beard and he had just a mustache there. I wasn't a big fan of that either. But anyways, the 11th, 44 years old for the one and only glorious Robert Roode. The 12th is the anniversary ROH Border Wars 2012 took place at the Ted Reed Arena in Toronto, Ontario, back in 2012, like I said. And it's kind of like bookends. So I started out with Kevin Owens talking about him being 37 years old yesterday. And Kevin Steen on the 12th, which was ROH Border Wars 2012, by the way, defeated Davey Richards to win the ROH World Championship in Toronto. I was there. And the main reason for it is because of the fact I knew, well, I mean, biased Canadian, of course, but I thought something big was going to happen with regards to Kevin Steen, Kevin Owens, and obviously it did. I had footage at one point on YouTube. I got yelled at by Ring of Honor for it, so it got taken down, but it was still sitting there. And this is a true story. A couple months ago, I had two clips. One was Michael Elgin, and the other was Kevin Steen winning the title from Davey Richards. So the Elgin one I had saved, but for whatever reason, I could view the Kevin Steen one, but I had no way to download it. And I, basically was trying to figure out ways, Googling the heck out of it. So the video was still there, but I wasn't able to basically repost it, right? There was no download link as well. And I almost gave up. And just as I was about to give up, the video downloaded. And so I've still got that exact same footage I took back in May of 2012 on the 12th. So yeah, it was a big moment, big night. I wish I could play it because you could hear the fans react. Obviously, you can go to ROHwrestling.com to view it there, ROH Honor Club. But the cool thing is, when I look back at the card itself, I had no idea some of the guys I actually got to see because 2012 is a different era. But to me, it was, with regards to Kevin Steen winning the title, that's why I was there. But here's the matches that took place that night. Eddie Edwards defeats Rhino with Truth Martini. Dark match. Grizzly Redwood defeat Delirious. Match number 1, Eddie Edwards defeats Rhino with Truth Martini. Match number 2, the All Night Express, which was Rhett Titus and Kenny King. And TJP, defeated the Young Bucks. So I got to see the Young Bucks. I had no clue who the heck they were back in 2012. And Mike Mondo. Match 3, Jay Lethal defeated Tommaso Ciampa. Match number 4, Lance Storm defeats Mike Bennett with Brutal Bob Evans in his corner. Match number 5, Michael Elgin defeating Adam Cole, the one and only Adam Cole. Match number 6, Roderick Strong as champ, defeating Fit Finley. He had Truth Martini in his corner, so that was the ROH World Television Championship. Match number 7, semi-main event, wrestling's greatest tag team, Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin defeated the Briscoe brothers, Jay Briscoe and Mark Briscoe. And that was a fight without honor for the ROH World Tag Team Championship. And then match number 8, like I said, main event, Kevin Steen defeats Davey Richards to win the ROH World Championship. So it was pretty darn cool to be there live. And like I said, I wish I could show the footage that I have, but YouTube unfortunately doesn't allow me to, and I'm not going to go through other mediums. But it was a very cool night. And some of the names I saw, Adam Cole, the Young Bucks, I had no idea, and I remember seeing, I think, Fit Finley and Lance Storm. But it's anyways, it is what it is. But pretty cool moment and pretty cool anniversary there to be talking about. Major news of the week. This has nothing to do with wrestling, but it kind of does at the same time. So I'm just going to bring this up here. And you might have heard about this. Big Chinese rocket segment set to fall to Earth. So the website I'm on right now is BBC. And basically it talks about this big old Chinese rocket expected to fall back to Earth in an uncontrolled re-entry this weekend. I've been trying to keep track as far as their official website goes, but it's been overloaded as heck today. So I've been going to other websites. But it's basically going to land in a red area. So if you look at a map of the world, there's a red area that's 41.5 degrees north and then 41.5 degrees south, and it's expected to land any kind of debris, whatever the case may be, in there. So obviously you can see the oceans, but it's going all the way from New York all the way down to Sydney, Australia. So the big cities that got listed here is New York, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Lagos in Africa, Beijing, and then Sydney. And there is an official website as well. It talks about the tracking and the closer it gets. Last I saw, it was supposed to hit I believe late tonight. I think it was like 11:30. I think it's been up to about 3:30 tomorrow morning. But it's kind of scary and exciting all at the same time. But it's a lot of politics involved with that one as well. With regards to the fact is something like this should never have happened. Major news websites out there are saying that the likelihood of anybody getting hit, it's not going to happen. But we're in COVID-19 for the better part of 2 years now, and is something else just happening, But anyways, thoughts and prayers to anybody in that affected area. I'm in London. I don't think London is in that radius right now, but towards the end of the night, I'll be keeping track to see exactly, what area the rockets are going to land in, and if anybody at all is going to be affected close to home here. But like I said, New York's pretty close. I've got relatives in Connecticut. So it's going to be interesting there, but a big rocket to fall out of the sky sometime tonight. So it's going to be an interesting night and news with regards to tomorrow. Anyways, speaking of news, we get into the news of the week. New Japan Wrestling Dontaku, I think I pronounced that right. Night one live results: Tanahashi versus White. And I'm not going to go through the rundown because I've been out there for about a week, but Jay White in new never open weight champion. So Hiroshi Tanahashi loses the belt there. From there, we go to talking about Chelsea Green undergoes surgery to remove plate from her arm. So that was about a week ago as well. This, I'm going to bring up the article because I had no idea she was scheduled for surgery again. But like I said, May 3rd, you go to the article. It's on postwrestling.com. And it's got her sitting in the hospital bed with thumbs up. It says, coming out of her release from WWE in April, Chelsea Green made a number of media appearances to tell the story of the experience in WWE. She also launched her 50 Shades of Green podcast. And then the former Impact Knockouts champion took to Instagram today and shared that she recently underwent surgery to remove a plate from her arm. Chelsea has suffered several breaks in her arm wrist throughout her WWE run. And the latest occurrence was a week out from 2020 Survivor Series. Chelsea wrote the following on Instagram. And where are we here? Post-surgery photo. The plate in my arm is out and I'm ready to get back to work. It's been a long 2 years of struggling with breaks, surgeries, hardware, and some complications, but we're finally at the finish line. So it's going to be interesting because where's she going to end up? Obviously, Cardona is not signed to any kind of long-term deal right now. But the fact is he's, been on Impact Wrestling. He's also made an appearance or two with regards to AEW. Forbidden Door has been kicked open. So it's going to be interesting to see where she ends up. Obviously, Impact Wrestling, she's tight with Deonna Purrazzo, but she's also tight with Britt Baker. So it could make sense either way, But it's going to be interesting to see what happens towards the end of the year for Chelsea Green. Back to New Japan. 2 NJPW wrestlers have tested positive for COVID-19. This came out, I believe, nope, it was the 5th. I want to say the 3rd, but it was the 5th. All New Japan Pro Wrestling talent is subject to daily temperature monitoring as well as blood oxygen saturation checks and frequent testing. It says, before the Road to Dontaku tour began, all wrestlers and staff returned negative PCR tests, clearing them for competition. Then they go on to say, on the morning of May 4th, Wrestling Dontaku, Day 2 event, 2 wrestlers presented with a high temperature. According to protocol, they were taken for immediate testing, while those that had close contact with the individuals in the last 2 events were removed from proceedings. So anyways, long story short, 2 guys from New Japan, they had to alter night 2 as far as the shows went and the lineups. And, of course, being professional, they didn't name names. But it's tough to hear about the news from Japan. Obviously with regards to COVID-19 procedures and protocols. And then I'll get into more about that later, but they're in a state of emergency right now. And there's more announcement that's going to come out as well. So I think about midway through, but I'll get to that momentarily there. I've got a new mouse going on and I'm on a wooden table as far as my laptop and the mic goes and everything else. But the new mouse, I didn't spend a lot of money for it because my old one broke and I needed a replacement quick. Otherwise, my wife and I were going to be sharing a mouse while she's trying to, she's a teacher. So she's doing the home teaching at home thing. It doesn't work too well when you got one mouse between 2 laptops. But so if you hear any noises, it's the mouse right there. But I might have to upgrade. Where was I here? From there, Eva Marie's coming back to Raw. Segment played on Monday Night Raw this past Monday. She's not all red everything. I think her new hashtag is all everything or something like that. But it'll be interesting to see how she plays out. And she still looks good, but the training, whether or not she's been trained better as a wrestler. Speaking of better wrestlers, Charlotte Flair added to Raw Women's title match at WrestleMania Backlash. I'll tell you this, I'm not digging the Charlotte Flair character. She is, it's like that song that you hear on the radio that's great, and you know it's great, and you hear it for a couple times, and it's great, but when you hear it the 10th time that day, it's just kind of like, and Charlotte Flair is that person right now as far as Monday Night Raw goes. I'll tell you this, I lasted 90 minutes throughout Raw this past Monday. It was the same old storylines. It was the same old come on, and they've ruined, I can't say they've ruined it for me as far as WB goes, but creative right now, completely lazy. I understand when the pandemic first hit a year ago, but the storylines taking place, I mean, you could wake me up in the middle of the night and be like, who's going to face who on this next coming pay-per-view? And I could probably tell you in the middle of the night, half asleep still. And that's the way Raw was this past Monday. So to me, it's getting boring. And I'm not getting paid to watch it. So, I mean, I'm not going to put down the product, and I'm not going to sit there and watch the whole show and be one of those Twitter people, whatever. So, but I posted comments on Twitter. I said, you know what, that's it. 90 minutes in, I'm done. Good night. And that was it. But I'm not going to sit there and watch a show just to put it down. But there's too much wrestling on TV, and there's too many companies out there. And I'm not going to waste time to watch a product that I feel is dulled down right now based on the deals. I've said this before in the show, based on the deals that WWE has both with Fox and NBC. The $500 million deals, basically between the two networks, and WWE can put anything out there and it's not going to matter. They probably have a clause in their contracts that says if they hit a certain low mark, then they're in trouble, but that could be like 1 million views a week. And then you add the fact that Raw's 3 hours, and it's way too much. So, but like I said, Charlotte Flair being part of that match, it's whatever. I mean, she gets suspended a couple of weeks ago, and now all of a sudden she's in a title match again. The 4th, happy Star Wars Day to everybody that was out there. I love doing the graphics on my website as well as my social media. So every now and then you'll see the C logo for CWN switch up. You'll see the header image as well. So I did it for Star Wars on social media as well as the website. And then I did it yesterday for Owen Hart's birthday. So he was in the CWN logo as well as the banners and the headers and everything else. But it's kind of cool. I have fun with that. And I'll probably do it again for Mother's Day tomorrow. Concerning May Force Wrestling Dontaku Day 2 event, I talked about that there with regards to the COVID positive test. Dontaku Night 2 results, they are up on cwnonline.ca. Main event had Will Ospreay retaining against Shingo Takagi. So guys, go and look for that if you have New Japan Pro Wrestling World. WWE filming documentary about the Nexus. I'll tell you this, when the Nexus was part of WWE, I wasn't necessarily a big fan. So there is a lot of that. I have to go back on the network and watch to get familiar with it. Now, obviously, the names I'm familiar with. So Wade Barrett, Daniel Bryan, Darren Young, Ryback, who I think was Ryan Reeves or Ryan Wright. I don't know if it was Ryan Reeves back then. I don't think he was Ryback back then. Michael Tarver. No idea. PJ Black, Heath Slater, and David Otunga were the original members of the Nexus that started in WWE in June of 2010. Group burst onto WWE programming and along the way won 3 tag team titles and had a former WWE champion CM Punk as part of the group from December 2010 to July 2011. It says WWE is in the process of filming a documentary about the Nexus as revealed by Fred Rosser, the former Darren Young. And then this was on the 4th as well. So today I proudly wore my New Japan track jacket during the filming of WB Network's Docs Untold Nexus because I want to represent the best hour of pure professional wrestling on the planet. A lot of hashtags there, but it is kind of cool. It's a picture of Darren Young on social media, on his Twitter, and he's sitting there. He's got a microphone above him, cameras on him, and then you see him holding the old N logo there for the Nexus. I always thought it was just Nexus. I didn't realize it was the Nexus, but very cool. So I'll get to watch that. and then kind of get filled in about the whole group. But I've got to go back in the network and, like I said, to find those times. I know there was a big storyline with John Cena at one point as well, but it was a point in time I wasn't necessarily following wrestling that much, and I'd follow it when I could. And obviously, it's one of those times we're going to go back and see. NXT results May 4th. The way dethroned Shotzi and Ember as NXT NXT Women's Tag Team Champions in a jaw-dropping street fight. So I was surprised. I'll tell you this, I wasn't necessarily expecting them to pull the trigger on the way with regards to Indy and Candice, but with the whole Dexter Lumis storyline and Candice just being Candice and Johnny being Johnny, I think it's cool. So 3 of the 4 have championships right now, and where's that leave Austin Theory? Does he go after Kushida, which I think would be phenomenal. ROH recap, Tony Deppen wins ROH World Television title from Tracy Williams. That was unexpected. It's weird here in Canada because I know around the rest of the world, you're privileged to watch ROH on Saturdays. Here in Canada, we get Monday nights on Fight and then Tuesday nights on the Fight Network. So when I post the results, so to speak, for ROH, it's always Tuesday night after it's aired on Fight Network, because I'm not big on spoilers and this and that. And my cat is being a jerk right now. I've got a cord set up, but we just got a new couch. It's one of those sectional things, and it's huge, so I can't see the cord anymore going to the router. But I can see the cat drifting around the cord. So if I see this cord moving, he's going to get yelled at. I can't throw a water bottle at him because it's 3/4 full, and I'll end up hitting the TV, and then my daughter will hate me for life. AEW launches global online shop for official apparel. The cool thing about this, no longer a lot of wait times. I'm just going to bring this up here, and it was a press release that I was sent through email with regards to the shop, but sorry, paying attention to that cat again. So if you go to global.shopaew.com, that is the official website link. And May 5th, it came out. So AEW today announced the launch of its new online shop for official merchandise, global.shopaew.com. This is the cool thing. Effective immediately, fans from 224 countries can order through their website to save up to 60% on shipping costs and reduce delivery time by up to 50%. The online shop will have more than 400 t-shirts for purchase, with additional items available soon. The apparel will ship directly from AEW's global distribution warehouses in Toronto, Tijuana, Barcelona, Riga, that's Latvia, Amakusa, Japan, and Victoria and Brisbane in the Australia there. So it is cool to be here in Canada, especially London, knowing that they're shipping out of Toronto. If I can talk, the big question I had though is whether or not they're still affiliated with Pro Wrestling Tees, and then I saw the news break with regards to, I think it was their Twitter for Pro Wrestling Tees, and they had come out and said that basically, hey, we've got a new thing set up for All Elite Wrestling with regards to Pro Wrestling Tees. So they're still affiliated with Pro Wrestling Tees, which is great. And you can order your t-shirts and get them quicker and save costs on shipping. So that's global.shopaew.com. So guys, check that out there. Big news of the week as well. And this kind of drifted by the wayside, but then a couple of news websites picked up on this. One of them was Slam Wrestling. So it came out on the 5th as well. Report, Daniel Bryan's contract with WB expired last week. It says the status of Daniel Bryan with WB is in the air following a report that his most recent contract with the promotion has expired. SRS, which is Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful, reports that Daniel Bryan's deal either expired or was set to expire after the match with the Roman Reigns on Friday night. But the match stipulation was that if Bryan lost, he would be banished from SmackDown. And it says a source with knowledge of the situation confirmed this to Post Wrestling there. So long story short, I mean, it's they said, wouldn't it be cool if he showed up at AEW Blood and Guts just for the heck of it? He's not going to burn any bridges. I tell you that. He's a reputable guy. One of the other things as well is whether or not he goes back to ROH for a brief period of time. That would be, can you imagine him and Samoa Joe just showing up simultaneously at ROH? That would be absolutely phenomenal. But he's a lot of ties, heavy ties with regards to WB. He apparently was writing SmackDown at one point. Obviously, the Bella Twins, everything that goes on with Daniel Bryan. He's got a lot of friends there. So, Cesaro being one of them, Nakamura being another one. But it's going to be interesting to see whether or not See, but the problem is, I was gonna say this, but if he drifts, WWE takes that chance of losing him because Daniel Bryan's a passionate guy, and with being passionate, the fact is if he gets back into ROH and sees the familiar faces, all of a sudden Samoa Joe shows up there as well. Then all of a sudden he's going to get that itch for ROH, and then next thing you know, he drifts. So I think WWE's got to offer him a lot of money to keep him there. Otherwise, if he hits the Indies and COVID, ceases to exist, I'm thinking it's going to be troubling for WWE at this point. But that's a whole separate show. Impact Wrestling partners with Samsung TV Plus. That'd be interesting to see him show up in Impact as well. A lot of dream matches there. But if you have Samsung TV Plus, you're able to get Impact Wrestling for free. I think the TVs it's 2015 to 2021, so to current. But it's those TVs have the capabilities. I got a Samsung in my living room here, but I forget what year I got it. I think it was 16, 17, maybe. I don't know. Anyways, Natalia Neidhart, this week her column, celebrating our incredible mothers, obviously in tune for Mother's Day there. ROH TV preview, Quinn McKay makes ROH in-ring debut against the one and only Angelina Love in highly anticipated showdown. So this sucks. I'm not saying it sucks because of the match. I'm saying it sucks because being here in Canada, I got to wait till Monday night, Tuesday to be able to watch that. But Angelina Love is officially back, ROH in the ring, which is great. And, it's going to be interesting to see Quinn McKay, what she can do against Angelina Love. I'm getting my next subject. So Roxy receives first ticket to gold. So she is officially, I don't know much about this girl, but she is officially in the tournament to crown the new WOH Women of Honor champion, which will be great there. AEW Double or Nothing to operate at full capacity in Jacksonville. That is huge news as well. Obviously, they're one of those towns, one of those states. It was weird. I'll tell you this. My wife's a huge Blue Jays fan, and I've been trying to convert her for the past couple of years. When I say past couple of years, almost 7 years, to be a Red Sox fan, and she just laughs at me. And she's even got my toddler, my soon-to-be 3-year-old, on the Blue Jays bandwagon by teaching her the OK Blue Jays song. Anyway, long story short, so I'm sitting here on my laptop yesterday, and she's watching the game, and they're playing Houston, and there's fans in the crowd without masks. It's such a different state. And saying that, then I get to the AEW Double or Nothing. So this comes courtesy of postwrestling.com as well. During his weekly appearance on Busted Open Radio, AEW President Tony Khan announced Double or Nothing would operate at full capacity. Khan expects full capacity. I got to slow down. At Daly's place for the May 30th pay-per-view event, which would mean approximately 5,500 seats, depending on production space that is needed. And that is entirely cool. And they're gearing up for it because the fact is, if you watch AEW Blood and Guts this past Wednesday, you would have seen the crowd shots, heard the crowd. Obviously, socially distant and in their bubbles and wearing masks for the most part. I mean, you have the one guy who's just singing, Judas. His mask is down, but whatever the case, they're being as safe as they possibly can. But that is cool. 5,500 people for Double or Nothing coming up on May 30th there. New champion crowned. Oh, that was MLW. Let's try to remember the article. So Myron Reed once again is the one of the champs for MLW. MLW is one of those promotions. Unfortunately, I don't watch as much as I'd like. I promote them, obviously, the huge talent roster. But the fact is, when it comes down to it, it's timing, right? But anyways, this happened on Wednesday. Myron Reed made history tonight in the main event of Fusion, where he defeated Leo Rush to become the first ever 2-time champion in league history. And it says, watch the young GOAT reclaim his championship in an extraordinary title fight that culminates this season of Major League Wrestling. So that was the season finale this past Wednesday, available for free on YouTube. And then apparently they're having an open draft starts next week. So that'll be kind of interesting and cool to see. But hell of a roster. And at one point they were in talks with WWE. I think I mentioned that last week. And the talks apparently have fizzled out. I haven't heard that officially, but they're one of those companies that, like ROH, you root for. Impact Wrestling, the same sort of thing. So congrats to Myron Reed there. AEW Unrestricted this week, the return of Chris Statlander. So guys, check that out on social media, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. at Sushi, I want to say I pronounced that right, Onita, to launch FMWE Exploding Death Match promotion. That is kind of cool. So, I mean, obviously, when you've got guys like Dr. Luther still kicking around, you always hear the FMW. Well, now it's FMWE. So Anita held a press conference on Thursday to launch to announce the launch of Frontier Martial Arts Wrestling Explosion. So FMWE, a new wrestling promotion that will borrow some of its name and logo from the legendary FMW company that Onita founded back in 1989. Onita will serve as figurehead for the company, while I'm going to say his last name, Kajiki, will serve as the company president. The new FMWE will hold its first show titled Independence Day, July 4th in Yokohama at the Surumi Fruit and Vegetable Market. So more information. I don't think it's up on CWNonline.ca yet, but it will be. But you can check that out just by typing in FMWE on obviously Google, or the original article I was reading from was with regards to f4wonline.com there. So guys, check that out if you're a fan of that kind of wrestling style. I've always heard about it, but I think I've seen clips on social media like YouTube and stuff like that, but I don't think I've ever watched the full show. Walter comes to WB After the Bell. That was released yesterday. It's a Spotify, Apple podcast. Dark Side of the Ring creators talk season 3 and Bryan Pillman's tumultuous career. It's funny how I can say tumultuous, no problem at all, but some of the Japanese names I have trouble with. That was released on the 6th. That was courtesy of Vice.com interview with them. Winner Peggers this week, episode 42, just titled Sports. That's another one of those things I'd like to be able to listen or watch more often than not, but I've been missing out the past couple of weeks. Just a lot going on, I guess. I'm not dying. That came out of nowhere. Sorry. Field set for number 1 contenders match. Morrissey back battles Mac and Morat Under Siege. So this was courtesy, obviously, of Impact Wrestling. So I'm going to bring up the article here. Impact Wrestling, it was tough this week because I only get to watch half of it. And then also, next thing you know, the Pillman documentary is on. So it's not one of those. I can't watch I can watch two different wrestling shows at the same time, no problem at all. But I can't watch a documentary and try to watch a wrestling show. It just I miss out on the documentary that way. But anyways, I'll go back and watch the rest of Impact Wrestling. But long story short, like I said, field set for number 1 contenders match. Morrissey battles Mac and more. So the 6-way number 1 contenders match has been officially set. So we got Chris Sabin, we got Chris Bay, Sami Callihan, Matt Cardona with the dinosaur look. We got Trey Miguel and then Moose in that match there. From there, we go into a one-on-one match. We got W. Morrissey taking on Willie Mack, and then signed as well, Brian Myers taking on Black Taurus. Two coolest names in wrestling to be able to say, Black Taurus and Rush. I love saying both of those names, but yeah, it's that is next Saturday. So I will get into CWN's schedule at the very end of the show there as well to let you guys know what's coming up. ELP El Fantasmo makes Impact debut. Juice Robinson faces Doc Gallows. Obviously, that took place this past Thursday. I'll get more into that when I go into the highlights. Wrestle Grand Slam in Yokohama Stadium. Tokyo Dome postponed. So this unfortunately sucks because of everything that's going on in Japan. Obviously, the COVID, the 2 wrestlers who tested positive for COVID, and then this was announced as well. But they're, like I said, over there, they're in a state of emergency. The article reads, and this is courtesy of New Japan's official website. Thank you for your support of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Friday, May 7th, the Japanese government announced an extension to the state of emergency currently in place in Tokyo and other prefectures. In light of this announcement, as well as COVID-19 infection status, in order to prevent any potential further spread of the virus, New Japan Pro Wrestling has arrived at the decision to postpone the Wrestle Grand Slam events in Yokohama Stadium. That is May 15th, in the Tokyo Dome. That is May 29th. And they go on to say, New Japan Pro Wrestling deeply apologizes for all fans looking forward to these events for the inconvenience and disappointment caused. That's probably the word most commonly used besides the F word with regards to COVID is disappointment. So, but it's just a matter of time, patience, and perseverance, guys. This was announced as well this week, back on the 7th, which was yesterday. Hana Kimura Memorial Show to air on Fight TV. That is absolutely cool. Obviously, the backstory to Hana Kimura Still sucks to this day, but this is courtesy F4WOnline.com. Hana Kimura Memorial Show that will be held later this month will air on Fight TV. Fight TV has added the show to their site, which will air on May 23rd. Same date as Owen Hart, his anniversary, rest in peace. Ring of Honor's Ian Riccaboni, Fumi Saito, and the world-famous CB Cheeseburger will be on commentary. The description reads as follow. May 23rd, live on Fight, is Hana Kimura Memorial, Matane, Matinee. I'm not sure the official pronouncement of that, but the event will honor the 1-year anniversary of the untimely passing of Hana Kimura. Memorial evening features wrestlers such as Super Delphin, Hub, Yuko Miyamoto, Munori. I apologize for some of these names if we're getting them wrong. Sara Kaori, Yanayama, Cherry, Hanako Nakamura, Yuki Miyazaki, Veni, who is Asuka, Veni, Asuka, okay, and then we get Kagetsu, Mio Monomono, Mika Iwate, and much more. And like I said, I apologize for the names, but Kimura, 22 years old, passed away on May 23rd of last year, taking her own life following cyberbullying and harassment based on her appearance of the Japanese reality show Terrace House. So that is absolutely... I mean, it's great to see them doing a memorial show, but you kind of wish it had been for different circumstances. And that May 23rd date, I mean, it's tough as a wrestling fan. Kevin Owens' most shocking moments WB playlist is on YouTube right now, so check that out. They did that in honor of his birthday yesterday. Jordan Grace resigns with Impact Wrestling. That was announced on the 7th. No details, but that came impactwrestling.com. Pollock's review, Dark Side of the Ring, Brian Pillman. John Pollock wrote a good review with regards to episode 1 of Dark Side of the Ring. I believe I haven't read the review yet, and that was interesting because the fact is Crave. So I signed up for it. And you get HBO as well. But I announced last week that one of the guys who was in charge of Dark Side of the Ring had said it was going to air simultaneously with regards to Vice down there in the States, up here on Crave. Well, there's 4 Crave stations. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, obviously. And it was not airing on any single one of them. So last year for season 2, what they had done was they had released it about 5 or 10 minutes later on demand. So I'm glad I went with the option I did as far as Rogers Ignite goes. So I signed up for, like I said, Crave and HBO. And when I did that, I went on demand. And then sure enough, it was like an hour and 15 minutes. No commercials, obviously, because it's on demand. But it said episode 1 and 2 of Brian Pillman. So I was like, wow. I said, this is actually kind of cool. So I was like, am I actually going to see the whole thing? So I end up watching, again, the whole thing. So I mean, next week's supposed to be episode 2, but I've obviously watched it all, which is kind of neat. So I get to watch Impact Wrestling next week. But it was it's kind of cool in a kind of way to have the on-demand option to be able to watch the full documentary commercial free. I'm not sure how people in the States, if they have that option as well on Vice. But here in Canada, I was like, sweet. But anyway, long story short, 2 thoughts as far as the documentary goes. Melanie Pillman, guys, is one of the reasons never to do drugs. Is she what she looked like back in the late 90s towards what she looks like today? I would never have pictured it being the same lady. And, the backstory behind it and the stuff you heard about, some of the stuff was new to me. Some of the stuff wasn't. But unfortunately, yeah, she doesn't look that well. But in saying that, she is the mother of the one and only Brian Pillman Jr. And in watching this documentary in its entirety, you felt for Brian Jr. You felt attached to him more than so just being a wrestling fan. You felt for him as a human being. And when I got done watching the documentary, I posted on the Canadian Wrestling Network Facebook group. I said 2 things out of it. Number 1, don't do drugs. And number 2, I can't wait to see Brian Pillman Jr. as champion because he deserves it. He's so damn humble, so damn proud. And but the fact is, he deserves a world championship down the road. And it's an interesting documentary, guys. Go out of your way to watch it. And hopefully, if you're on demand with regards to the Vice, Hopefully you'll be able to watch the whole documentary and not have to wait till next week. But thumbs up for the documentary and thumbs up for the Dark Side of the Ring crew with how they do it and how they style it. And obviously Jericho being on narrating as well, which is kind of cool. Announced as well, Mysterio's taking aim at becoming the first father and son tag team champions against the Dirty Dogs. That is absolutely cool. I think it'd be interesting to see. I'm a huge Rey Mysterio mark. Yes, I'm not afraid to use the word mark when it comes to Rey Mysterio. Several WWE magazines from way back in the day when he first made his debut in mint condition that I have of him. There was one that was dedicated all towards him. And then there was another one that is a picture of him and Eddie Guerrero somewhat dressed up. And my goal is someday to have them autographed. I've also got the original Rey Mysterio DVD that they produced. And I love Rey Mysterio. I absolutely love him. And hopefully one day I get to meet him and have all my merch signed. Anyways, but it'd be cool to see him and Dominic win the championships there. Swiss Superman, a challenge head of the table that became official last night as well. I'll get more to that when I get into the highlights. And then details on MLW's return to live events, note on capacity size. So this came out just today. It's the last little bit of news I saw before I went on the air. MLW is preparing to return in front of live fans this July with a card set for Philadelphia. So that's 2300 Arena, and followed by events in Texas and Chicago later in the year. Company ran its season finale of Fusion this past Wednesday and will return on Saturday, July 10th at the 2300 Arena in Philly. They have also announced dates for North Richland Hills, Texas on September 11th, and the return to Cicero Stadium in Chicago, November 6th. So obviously they're adhering to protocols, and just a summary of the articles basically say 25 to 30%, but they hope to get 45 to 50% as far as that goes. But absolutely cool. John Pollock has an interview with regards to Court Bauer, so you can check it out at postwrestling.com. It's going to be interesting to see where MLW goes come July, especially going to Texas. I haven't heard anything with regards to Chicago. That area there, Illinois, and as far as capacities go. But like I said, watching that Jays game against Houston, as well as WrestleManias and Double or Nothing taking place, it's only a matter of time before we're back to normal, guys. It may not be till next year, but at least we got something to look forward to. Speaking of looking forward to, tomorrow night, Biography, Booker T, May the 9th, 8 o'clock p.m. on A&E, followed by WB's Most Wanted Treasures, Booker T once again, May the 9th at 10 o'clock on A&E. The cool thing about this, one of the things that Booker T had said, he's missing, I think, the original robe when he became King Booker. It'll be interesting. But it's if you're a fan of Booker T, you'll be great for 3 hours tomorrow night on A&E there. WB Chronicle tomorrow night, Damian Priest. I know it does. It goes on demand, but I love watching the episodes as they're airing with the rest of the wrestling fans there. But that's on Peacock WB Network at 8 o'clock p.m. And then Dark Side of the Ring Season 3, Episode 2, officially Bryan Pillman Part 2, May the 13th, 9 p.m. on Crave. And that's it for the news. So highlights. AEW Blood and Guts, Mox and Kingston defeats Omega and Nakazawa. Moxley pinned Nakazawa, so they kept Omega strong for that. Announced for Double or Nothing, Shida versus Britt Baker for the title. Cody Rhodes defeats QT Marshall. Marvez, Page, Sky, and Allen have a backstage promo, which is basically Marvez interviewing Ethan Page as well as Scorpio Sky. Darby Allin steps in, tries to get involved. He gets tossed down the stairs. So obviously they're setting up for a huge feud. Hopefully Sting gets involved with that one as well officially. That would be cool to see Canada's own Ethan Page in the ring with Sting. I think that would be cool. Britt Baker defeats Julia Hart. No relation to the Harts. SCU defeats Jurassic Express. Varsity Blondes and the Acclaimed to become official number one contenders, getting a match next week against the Bucks. Omega OC promo. And then that's announced that OC taking on Pac next week, with the winner going to the main event at Double or Nothing. Miro interview. And then that's announced that Miro's taking on Darby next week. You'd swear to God they are still going head to head with NXT the way they're making these announcements. But it's cool because you know what to look forward to next week. And next week's going to be huge as well. 2 title matches, officially. And then Orange Cassidy taking on Pac. I never really thought I could have stuck OC behind me in the t-shirt spot, but the retro SmackDown got me thinking retro as far as some of the stuff I've done. So that's hence the the Sharpshooter shirt, and obviously Owen Hart's birthday and Stu Hart's birthday earlier this week. Anyways, where was I? Pinnacle defeats Inner Circle in the Blood and Guts match in the main event. I got a lot of photos from AEW with regards to it, close-up shots, everything else, and it was the match itself was cool. But there's one shot of MJF, and the camera guy is just the proper spot, and MJF is pushing Jericho off the top of the cage, and it's just the shot alone. It was absolutely awesome. But the main event was awesome to the point. When I get to the ratings, you'll know how awesome it is. But props to AEW for putting on a great show this past Wednesday there. NXT UK. Dragunov defeats Dave Mastiff by ref stoppage. Nathan Frazier and Noam Dar agree to a Heritage Cup rules match on Supernova Sessions. Trent Seven defeats Saxon Huxley. Kenny Williams defeats Amir Jordan in a no DQ loser leaves NXT UK match. Impact Sabin defeats Rhino to qualify. Taylor Wilde defeats Susan. Trey Miguel defeats Rohit Raju to qualify. Doc Gallows defeats Juice Robinson. ELP defeats VSK. Rachel Ellering defeats Kiera Hogan, and then Moose defeats James Storm to qualify as well. SmackDown last night, Cesaro defeats Seth Rollins to get his Backlash title shot. Carmella defeats Ruby Riott. We have a Bianca Belair Bayley brawl, which set up the match coming up next weekend. It's looking good. It's making me want to see Bayley and Bianca, so props to WB. Dominic Mysterio defeats Dolph Ziggler, which was a match originally Rey Mysterio was going to be in, and then Dolph starts shooting off his mouth, and Dominic gets involved, takes the match instead, and then ends up beating Dolph Ziggler. Tamina defeats Reginald by DQ. We have a 10-man tag team match set up by the one and only Teddy Long. So it was Baron Corbin, Apollo Crews, Sami Zayn, Otis, and Chad Gable defeating Big E, the Street Profits, Kevin Owens, and Nakamura. And then the finals was not the finals, but the main event spot was Roman Reigns, Jimmy Uso returned last night, Jey Uso and Cesaro, and basically it's the Usos aren't seeing eye to eye right now. Roman Reigns is trying to get involved, middleman. Cesaro kind of left them all laying last night, and as well, the one thing I didn't mention was there was a backstage promo between Seth Rollins as well as Roman Reigns. And it was kind of cool because I think this is just the fan in me. If you want to sell SummerSlam to me, set up Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. I think that'd be absolutely phenomenal because Roman Reigns should be left untouchable till then. And if you're going to put one guy up against him that could actually defeat Roman Reigns, want to be a face, a good guy, Seth Rollins, I think that'd be cool right there. 205 Live last night, Ari Sterling defeats Samir Singh, and then August Gray and Ikemen Jiro defeats Tony Nese and Arya Davari, and Jiro made his debut last night. And then New Japan Strong Collision 2021 took place last night. Barrett Brown and Adrian Quest defeats the DKC and Kevin Knight. The West Coast Wrecking Crew, love that name, which is Royce Isaacs and Jorel Nelson defeats Mysterioso and Jordan Clearwater. And then John Moxley, Chris Dickinson in the main events defeats Yuji Nagata and Ren Narita. And that's coming up next week as well. We get Moxley and Nagata. Jeez, AEW is going to be on fire on Wednesday. And Mox pins Narita. So Nagata stayed strong with regards to that. Ratings, biography, Macho Man Randy Savage, 790.31 in the 18 to 49 demo, 7th for the night. WB's Most Wanted Treasures, Jerry the King Lawler, 563.22 in the 18 to 49 demo, which placed them 12th for the night. Sorry, catching my breath. Raw, 18, so 1,872,000.53 in the 18 to 49 demo, first for the night. NXT, 761.18 in the 18 to 49 demo, 21st for the night. Canada, they had 45,000 people watch, and then 21,000 in the 25 to 54 demo. AEW Dynamite, Blood and Guts, 1,090,000. Holy crap, guys. 0.42 in the 18 to 49 demo, first for the night. Canada, they had 160,900 people watching. 97,400 of those were in the 25 to 54 demo. A lot of young fans up here in Canada. Impact, 123,000. .04 in the 18 to 49 demo, 125th for the night. Come on, Impact. I want to see them do better. Dark Side of the Ring, Season 3, Episode 1, 272,000, .09 in the 18 to 49 demo, 74th for the night. And then SmackDown, 2,157,000, so 2,157,000 and .60 in the 18 to 49 demo, but that is the fast national rating there, guys. So the official rating will be out with regards to Monday, but SmackDown looking like they did strong again this week, even stronger than Roman Reigns versus Daniel Bryan last week, which is a kind of unique. MMA Pro Boxing News, DC and Hawane, May 3rd. Check that out. That's up on CWNonline.ca. Bellator 258 report, Pettis wins title, Johnson returns with a KO. So I think I've actually got the article here for that. This comes courtesy of postwrestling.com. I try to, guys, with regards to the articles that I talk about, or especially linked to the website, CWNonline.ca, are usually Post Wrestling, Slam Wrestling, of course, Canadian websites that I've loved for since the beginning of time, so to speak. But a lot of them too come from FMWE Online, so it's reputable sources, right? So journalists I trust. But for the most part, like I said, I'll try to link it to a post wrestling article or a slam wrestling article to keep it Canadian content. Obviously, the CWN, Canadian Wrestling Network, and all that sort of jazz that went along with it. But I think you guys know what I mean. But anyways, where are we here? So it talks about the prelim card results. Long article, but the main one was this. So Anthony Rumble Johnson defeats Jose Augusto by KO at 1:30 in round 2. And then Sergio Pettis defeats Juan Archuleta by unanimous decision, 50-45, 49-47, 49-46, to win the Bellator Bantamweight Championship. So that's absolutely cool, to hear about Sergio Pettis, the brother, obviously, of Anthony Showtime Pettis, winning a championship there for Bellator 258. And another thing, I wish I had more time on my hands to watch more MMA, but there is nothing going on tonight as far as wrestling goes, and it's kind of cool and neat. Try to say neat and cool at the same time, but next weekend's going to be huge. Obviously, a whole bunch of pay-per-views taking place, but tonight, UFC Fight Night, Rodriguez versus Waterson, live tonight, 8 o'clock p.m., TSN2. Prelims taking place 6 o'clock p.m. tonight for free. All of it, guys. So you can watch 4 hours of UFC and get your money's worth because it's free. Go out and buy some popcorn, whatever the case may be. Speaking of that, I saw the biggest bag of popcorn yesterday at Costco, and my wife says she knew how much it was, but it was like, you could tell there's some family's going to have family Friday night movie night, whatever the case may be. But this popcorn thing was huge. It was like probably a good 3 or 4 feet tall, but it's like $7 for it. Anyway, sidetracked, but buy some popcorn for UFC tonight. But taking place at UFC Apex, Las Vegas, Nevada. Main event, number 6, Marina Rodriguez, taking on number 9, Michelle, the Karate Hottie. I love that nickname. Waterson in a women's flyweight belt. So that is absolutely for free tonight on TSN2. Normally it's on TSN5, but I checked the listings, at least for Rogers, and Rogers Ignite has TSN2 being listed tonight there. So guys, watch some UFC action tonight, a good 4 hours of it, or spend some time with your loved ones, or watch some UFC with your loved ones. There we go. You can do everything at once there. So guys, I'm going to take a little small break here and come back and talk about Canadian independent wrestling, of course, and get some water into me. And, you think 38 episodes in and figure out this balance, how to slow down. But I get excited, I guess. So, but anyway, guys, watch and listen to the promos. I'll be back and we'll talk some Canadian independent wrestling.
Are you a pro wrestling fan? Do you want the latest info on shows and the stars that appear throughout Ontario? Are you looking for information and insight into the independent wrestling scene? Want interviews and information on the big leagues? Then you want Knights of the Squared Circle with Ryan Knight on Coyote 103. Ryan has his finger on the pulse of wrestling in Ontario on every level, and he brings that to you every Sunday at noon. Listen for your wrestling fix with Ryan Knight and Knights of the Squared Circle, Sunday at noon, only on Coyote 103.
Hey, are you getting tired of the grind? Getting tired of the same old? Getting tired of living in an echo chamber? Well, if you are, tune in to the Duke You Suck podcast with Duke Durango. We'll be talking wrestling, sports of all kinds, politics, medicine, whatever else we want to get into. What I'm really looking for is for you to go on a journey with me. Perhaps we find some common ground and hopefully have a laugh along the way. So watch this space for the first episode dropping soon, the Duke You Suck podcast with me, Duke Durango.
You know, every now and then I think about having a beer with regards to doing the show. And I think to myself, I remember the St. Paddy's Day episode. I had one shot at the beginning of the show, and I had about half of the Guinness during the show. And I was kind of like, I'm not used to doing, I guess, a show talking about news, whatever the case might be, drinking. So, but every now and then I kind of maybe, but I don't know, maybe a light beer in the summertime. We'll see. But guys, as normal, you would think hashtag we are CIW, and then all of a sudden Canadian Independent Wrestling.ca at the bottom. But the race is on, so to speak. So as you can see there on the screen right now, the Bubblegum Princess Alexia Nicole, MaximCoverGirl.com/2021/Alexia Nicole. And I'm going to screen share here. So I did this last week as well, and I was checking the updates and I was like, holy crap. So I'll show you what I mean. Just give me a second here. There we go. So I'm going to get rid. So guys, listen on audio. It's I'm not trying to do the deadly silence thing. I'm just trying to remove some graphics here. Make this full screen. Yeah, there we go. So when you look at the screen here, MaximCoverGirl, like I said, .com/2021/Alexia-Nicole. It says votes for Alexia Nicole, Pro Wrestling's Bubblegum Princess, Detective Cookie Dough, only 4'10", but I can pick up and slam people twice my size. I read that last week as well. But look at this, currently first in their group. And then you get the two votes there, the Warrior vote. So purchase votes benefiting the homes for the Wounded Warriors Foundation. And then free daily vote. Facebook login required. But look at this. 5 days remaining, 6 hours, 45 minutes, 58 seconds. Voting for the top 5 ends Thursday, the 13th of May at 7 o'clock p.m. Pacific, which is 10 o'clock p.m. Pacific on here in London, Ontario, Canada. Anyways, the 13th is, what day is that? Is that Thursday? I think it's Thursday. And that goes on to say, what is Alexia Nicole's secret talent? I've been playing the piano for 20 years. What would Alexia Nicole do with $25,000? Put it towards owning her own home. But guys, 5 days, 6 hours, 45 minutes left. She is currently first in her group still. And that is absolutely cool there. So vote for Alexia Nicole. Once again, I'll get these graphics up on the screen here because it makes me feel more at home. But right there, guys, the Bubblegum Princess Alexia Nicole, and there is the official website, MaximCoverGirl.com/2021/Alexia-Nicole. Let's keep her in first place. Go to that website, vote. Like I said, May 13th, 10 o'clock p.m. It's cut off, but she is currently in first. Let's keep her in first there, guys. So Canadian Independent Wrestling.ca forwards you to the Facebook group, as I always talk about, but 450 members strong. Like I said, keep it clean, but promote everything that you've got going on with regards to Canadian Independent Wrestling, your talent, your gimmick, your promotion, your podcast, your merch, whatever the case may be. But guys, check that out, CanadianIndependentWrestling.ca. And if you type in the hashtag, we are CIW on social media, you'll see everything that's been posted with regards to Canadian Independent Wrestling there. But no events taking place. I saw one promotion, I think it was ECPW, so East Coast Professional Wrestling, finally go and say, hey, we're not going to do a show until November. I apologize if that's not the right promotion, but I believe it was. But they're looking at November now. I'll tell you this, as a wrestling fan, it sucks. And you heard my theory with regards to Coyote Roadrunner, but to me, it's kind of like you get excited and then you don't. You get excited, then you don't. But it's once COVID-19 is pretty much fully gone, and we're allowed to do things again, then start, putting your wrestling events out there. But it's tough as a fan being disappointed, especially if you're in one of those areas actually getting a show, So, but I'd rather just watch it online at this point. And saying that, this is where I start to talk about the YouTube. So YouTube special presentation featuring Pretty Ricky Wilde. Straight Talk Wrestling was released on the 2nd. The Duke You Suck podcast, episode number 12. The Canadian Silver Badger. I didn't realize that was his new nickname. The Canadian Silver Badger, Johnny Devine. I've always known him as Hotshot Johnny Devine, but apparently now it's the Canadian Silver Badger. But that was released on the 4th by the one and only Duke Durango. The Blackballed podcast, episode number 37. So Easy E, Eric Carney, and Joe Dog was released on the 6th with the one and only Pretty Ricky Wilde. Bishop versus Jackson Stone, ECCW match of the week on the 6th as well. Vidcast 51 featuring GSW founder Brandon Escari. That is on the 6th as well. Episode number 89, Chris Logan taking on Cyrus Bowman. Justin Sane taking on Sebastian Suave. That was on the 6th as well. Episode number 95, Intergender Wrestling. Beautiful Bay taking on Hacker Scotty O'Shea with St. Stephen Elias in his corner. That was on the 7th, which was yesterday, courtesy of Courage Pro Wrestling. I almost said Courtesy Pro Wrestling. Super Kicked Unlisted episode 28 released yesterday as well. NSW Overload season 3 episode 5 released yesterday as well. MPW Rewind The Eliminator February 2020 released yesterday as well. And finally, Monster Pro Wrestling Gold Rush 2011 released today. Guys, if you go on to youtube.com/CWN online, go to the hashtag WeAreCIW. You can find all of those episodes I just listed within that group. You can also go to CWNonline.ca, go to the Canadian Independent Wrestling section, and you have all the links there for the YouTube stuff I just talked about there as well. Tonight, RCW Uprising Episode 2, so Real Canadian Wrestling, 8 o'clock tonight on YouTube. And then this week, on this past Tuesday, was Slugging with Stephen O'Neill, featuring the one and only, and I've already mentioned his name a couple times there, but he was big into media doing interviews, is the one and only Pretty Ricky Wilde. So great interview there. I love learning about these guys. You know, it's one thing to listen to somebody talk on a podcast, interview, whatever the case might be, but to actually read it, you know, it's you learn, I think, to me anyways, you learn a lot more by reading than you do listening. But I mean, that's just me. But it is cool when I'm posting these interviews to read the responses by some of these guys. But like I said, Slugging with Stephen O'Neill released on the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Featuring the one and only Pretty Ricky Wilde. So that's every Tuesday night, 6 o'clock p.m. launching on CWNonline.ca, a new Slugging with Stephen O'Neill. And like I said, CanadianIndependentWrestling.ca, guys. That is where you go to check out anything that has to do with hashtag WeAreCIW. From there, Canadian Wrestling Network. Very proud of this. Very close to my heart. I'll tell you this, when CWN first came out in 2009, it was CWN Canadian Wrestling Network. And then all of a sudden I wanted more of a channel just towards news and stuff like that. So I basically just, it was CWN by itself, hence CWN Online. I also have Canadian Wrestling Network.ca, which forwards you to here, which is now a network in itself. So they've kind of separated, but it was interesting because I had a Facebook, it's not a reminder, but a Facebook memory, so to speak, come up a couple days ago. And it was me talking about the Canadian Wrestling Network. So I had this idea going on about a year ago, but I never kind of pulled the trigger on it, so to speak. I started setting up social media, everything else, but and now it's a full thing, you know. And in saying that, on the 5th, Cinco de Mayo at that. Proud to announce that the Dillmania podcast has joined the Canadian Wrestling Network. So new member added. The Dillmania podcast is now part of the Canadian Wrestling Network that was released or announced on the 5th. So proud to have Dylan be on board with Canadian Wrestling Network. Guys, it's as simple as this. You sign up for the Canadian Wrestling Network for free. You're part of the network, which means I promote you on social media, whether it be Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and I also promote you on the website as well. So it's just basically a network with regards to podcasters as well as websites, talent, that sort of stuff. But I try to keep it 100% Canadian. Obviously, I will make exceptions, but the fact is, when it comes down to it, it's just a network full of people who love promoting and talking about content with regards to doing interviews, podcasts, interview series, websites, whatever the case may be. But I'm very proud of it. Very proud of all the members that we have. Very proud of the new members coming on board. Very proud of the success that we're having as far as getting new followers on social media such as YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. We're not on yet. We have a Twitch channel which kind of plays anything with regards to the members. So I haven't actually done anything as far as Canadian Wrestling Network goes as far as Twitch. But it's one of those things. Twitch is kind of cool because when you're not playing your own content, you can play other people's content. So when they go live, it should show up live on the network there on Twitch. But like I said, Canadian Wrestling Network.ca is the very best way I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but the very best way basically to be able to check out everything involving the Canadian Wrestling Network and the group of people that we have, the group of fine people that we have, a part of that network there. Speaking of fine people, CWN is on Pro Wrestling Tees. That is right, guys. ProWrestlingTees.com/CWN online. There are 4 shirts available right now. So the CWN logo, you've got the Canadian Independent Wrestling logo. You've also got the Canadian Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame logo. And then you've got the Canadian Wrestling Network logo as well. Those will be available. What is the date today? The 8th. For 1 more week. And then all of a sudden you'll have 1 shirt out of those 4 that is still going to remain available. But then you've got 3 more shirts to be set up as far as a month-long buying thing goes, so to speak. So in short, basically 3 of the shirts are coming down for a month. 3 new shirts are going up for the month in time for obviously a special occasion up here in Canada, maybe happening on July the 1st. But like I said, you'll have 3 shirts come down, 3 shirts go up. And basically they'll be running for an entire month. So it'll be May 15th to June 15th. But like I say, ProWrestlingTees.com/CWN online is the way to buy merch. And we've already sold a shirt to somebody in Indiana. So thank you very much for that, guys. But like I said, this has been episode 38 of CWN Online. Sorry, not CWN Online, CWN Weekly. You know that you're at that hour mark when all of a sudden I start to fade off, so to speak, or start to ramble. But like I said, episode number 38. It's been fun, guys. It's I love doing this. It's a blast. My wife is very patient. She gets to go visit family or shopping or whatever the case may be, as much as she can do with regards to COVID. But she supports me in doing this. She doesn't want to be part of it, but I can throw ideas to her, and she'll give me her honest opinion on certain things, as well as the logo designs as far as the Pro Wrestling Tees store goes. But with that being said, as far as our schedule goes, and it will be changing within the next couple of weeks, but this is pretty much set for the next couple of shows that we have. So CWN Weekly, episode number 39, Friday, May 14th at 3 p.m. live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. That is a definite. So I will not be doing the show on Saturday of next week. It will be Friday, and that's episode 39, May the 14th, 3 p.m. Live on Facebook, Twitch, as well as YouTube. And I'm going to branch this out just a little bit. I've got my notes, but it's kind of throwing me off the way it's set right now. CWN predicts Impact Wrestling Under Siege 2021 taking place next weekend. So it'll be Saturday 15th. It'll be a 3 p.m. premiere, hopefully on Facebook and YouTube. It'll be a premiere regardless, but Facebook and YouTube. But like I said, that'll be CWN predicts Impact Wrestling Under Siege 2021. CWN recap Impact Wrestling Under Siege 2021. That'll be Sunday, May the 16th, at some time. But that'll be a premiere as well on Facebook and YouTube. CWN predicts WWE WrestleMania Backlash 2021. That'll be a 3 p.m. premiere next Sunday, May 16th, Facebook and YouTube as well, followed by the recap show, which will be taking place on Monday for WrestleMania Backlash. So that'll be May 17th at a time to be determined. But that will premiere as well on Facebook and YouTube, as well as CWN Weekly episode number 40, tentatively scheduled for Friday, May 21st at 3 p.m. live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. It'll be live regardless, but that date, Friday, May 21st, is going to be hit and miss depending on scheduling. But let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shows coming up for CWN Weekly within the next 13 days there. As always, guys, check out CWN Weekly on social media. CWN interview, that we have more interviews lined up. Hopefully they get nailed down this week, get done this week. Like I said, because things are changing scheduling wise a little bit. CWN on Pro Wrestling Tees, I talked about their new t-shirts coming up mid-May. As always, guys, you can do this. You can check out the email address, and I've got too much going on here. There we go. Feedback at cwnonline.ca. Best way to get in touch with the show. You can also message me personally, Chris at cwnonline.ca, for any ideas that you might have. You can talk to me about the network or Canadian Independent Wrestling, whatever you want to. But that is my personal email address there, Chris at cwnonline.ca. I got to create one more banner, which I thought I had, but I don't. So guys listening on audio, I am creating a banner here to show up on screen. There we go. Happy Mother's Day. So yeah, it is tomorrow, guys. So make sure that you appreciate your moms, your wives as moms, so to speak. With COVID taking place, everything, be safe, be respectful, but don't forget, they're a phone call away, they're a text message away, they're a Zoom call away, whatever the case may be. Drop flowers at the doorstep if you need to. But moms are a special lady in our lives, especially when you have kids with your wife. It's even that much better. I am surrounded by females, by the way. So 3 sister-in-laws, 2 sisters, 3 daughters. A lot of moms as well. Both of my sisters have kids, and obviously my wife has kids. One of her sisters has kids as well. Then there's stepkids, and it's it can be exhausting sometimes, but it's all about family and love. So like I said, happy hashtag, I can't say without having the hashtag in front of it, but hashtag happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there tomorrow. Like I said, Zoom, text, flowers at the doorstep, whatever the case may be. But don't forget to celebrate Mother's Day tomorrow there, guys. As always, follow me on social media at Chris Maloney, CWN. That is, Facebook and whatever the case. I don't know. Actually, it's not Facebook. It's Twitter and Instagram mainly there. But that is my own personal thoughts on wrestling as well there, guys. But guys, that is it. I seem to be going more than an hour every show now. I got to try to cut that back. And that's not with a lot of wrestlers, or not a lot of wrestling talk, but no indie show taking place. That's going to be the trick. Is when indie wrestling is back and there's more boxing and MMA to talk about, I've got to basically, and maybe I'll just do a top 10 as far as wrestling goes. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that. But guys, it's been great. I love talking to you guys. I love you guys listening. I love the feedback as well. But like I said, at Chris Maloney, CWN is the best way to get in touch with me as far as social media goes. So until next Friday, which is 6 days away, with regards to episode number 39 of CWN Weekly, enjoy your week. Enjoy Mother's Day tomorrow. And I will talk to everybody again sometime soon.